From the Woodshed, a casual conversation with Chase Morrill and Ryan Eldridge from Kennebec Cabin Company, the team that inspired the hit show Maine Cabin Masters. From the Woodshed is brought to you by Nelma, see the stamp, trust the quality. By Hero Media Arts, connecting small business with new customers. And by Hammond Lumber, your building project partner. Now, from the Woodshed Studios at KCC headquarters in Manchester, Maine, it's Chase and Ryan.
All right, from the Woodshed, I'm Chase Morrill. With me, as always, Ryan Eldridge and Maggie Morrill.
Hi. Hey, everybody.
We're here to talk about all things Maine, all things cabin, all things Maine cabin related. How's it going today?
And winter.
And winter.
Winter is here.
Yes. So today's guest is Tim Cotton. He'll be joining us via Zoom. He's the author of Detective in the Dooryard, and he's been a lieutenant in the Bangor Police Department for almost 30 years now.
And he's got a famous pet duck.
Yep, the Duck of Justice, and a pet dog, the Ellie, so be good to check in with them. You can find us at KennebeCCabinCompany.com, MaineCabinMasters.com, our Facebook page, our Instagram page, YouTube. Check out our videos, like, subscribe, ring the bell.
All that good stuff.
All that good stuff, and keep the questions and comments coming. Thank you for everything. We love the feedback. And check out our online store at KennebeCCabinCompany.com.
Also thank our sponsors.
Our sponsors, absolutely.
Nelma.org, Eastern Wine Pine. I thought I'd give you a break. You're talking too much today. EasternWhitePine.org and SprucePineFur.org. Also, Hero Media Arts is doing a lot of good stuff for us. And Hammond Lumber is the official building supplier of Kennebec Cabin Company. Exciting.
Yeah. So stick around for that. That'll be very interesting. And
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, the big news today, it's cold.
It's cold. Oh, my. Yeah, we're in single digits.
And it just, you forget how difficult it makes everything.
I said that yesterday when I got back to the job site because I had to drive from luckily we're close to headquarters. I had to drive here to get paint that you left the night before.
Yep.
And that just adds 20 minutes to something. So life is so easy in July and August and September.
So easy.
Everything changes.
Yeah, everything.
Do you feel like you take it for granted every year?
Of course.
You do. Like July and August and September, you just forget about. It's easy living. Life is good.
Yes, and that's what you should do, though.
It's like you just won the lottery and you have no fears, no problems.
Yeah, I mean, you know it's there in the back of your mind, but you just...
And by December, you spend all your money and you got to go back to work. It's a vicious cycle.
But yeah, the cold is here. Lakes are freezing over. Pipes are starting to freeze again. Realizing we need, insulation in a few places.
Yeah, and we realized we had it so good this year.
We did. We were very fortunate.
Today we were shooting a repack, which is, where we all go in and the best of, and they were talking about old episodes, and we were talking about the hockey episode, and everyone loved that one. And when you said that hockey scene was before Thanksgiving, it just blew my mind.
Yeah, I remember. It was like, because we were trying to get those done before Thanksgiving, and 6 inches of ice on the lake, which unheard of.
I was at Cobbessy this morning filling the heater at like 6 a.m., and the little cove had just a little skim, and where the wind would pick up, and the whole ice would ripple, and it had the coolest sound.
Do you remember when we were down at the Fisherman Camp?
Oh, yeah, I'll never forget that.
I think it was you, me, and Doug, and like maybe half of an inch of ice on the lake.
And the wind picked up.
And it pushed it all into the cove, and it was just like shoving it up onto the shore, and it just sounded like breaking glass.
I remember it'd get to a point, and it would like break, and then like...
Yeah.
Just...
It was such a cool sound.
You know what was weird about that Fisherman Camp is I feel like connected with nature so much there. There was one time we spent with like an otter, the ice thing. There was like 3 other things were like just animals and stuff. It was really, really cool.
Yeah.
The ice was the biggest.
Yeah.
It was wild.
Sure. And Maggie's ski practice is going well.
Yep.
How was dryland training?
It was rough the first few days, but it's okay now.
So yesterday, Nori, Eva, and Fletcher had ski practice for Farmington area ski team up at Tickums.
Yeah.
It was the first one. They thought, Sarah was like, they're just going to show up, talk
For
and
the
all
record,
this stuff.
I knew what was.
So I think
were they blowing? They had snow up there.
They have snow, but Nori was in Keds, or like Chuck Taylor's. Eva was in pair of Keds, and they had them first thing running up the mountain, like through the trails, all this stuff for a good 2 hours. And
they learned their lesson. You got to be prepared.
Yes, they will dress appropriately.
We didn't
now.
even go outside. It was so cold. And they were like,
and the kids are running the mountain.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So what? Tell me about the Titcomb program. It's more of a ski team for the kids.
So Titcomb Mountain's going to be open.
Yeah.
But the Farmington area ski team, Titcomb has opened up to all the ski teams that need a place to practice.
Yeah.
So the
Because of COVID, or
because of COVID,
Okay.
the junior high level doesn't have a Maranacook ski team.
yeah.
So they kind of got incorporated into the Farmington area ski team.
Oh, that's cool.
So they'll do training, they'll do practices, and do some racing. So at least they're staying up on it.
You guys will follow my footsteps. I got 3 college credits for learning to ski at Tickham, and then I moved into Sugarloaf. I was so scared of that. That damn T-bar. Oh, that thing would horrify me.
Oh, yeah.
T-bar stories. That'd be another good book.
That would.
Yeah, stories from the T-bar.
Story, yeah.
I was, being a lifty out west. I'll never watching people on that thing is one of the funniest things in the world, because people will not give up. They'll or something like their backpack will get caught, or their ski strap, or they'll bend over to do something. I mean, it's just nonstop.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. How many times I've fallen off the T-bar?
Being a snowboarder on a T-bar, I think, is way, way worse.
It's
too.
not fun.
Yeah.
I got the one down at Sugarloaf down. I don't want anyone by me, and I grab the bar and I put it right up because my butt's so flat. I put it like vertical, pretty much in my crotch, and it hooks my back left butt cheek.
Yeah.
And it's fine. But if someone's next to me, let's look at her and give me those looks. I'll show you what I mean next time. We'll do it.
No.
Try to explain this on a podcast.
But yeah, I mean, like with a skier, you sit parallel to each other.
Right.
And I mean, one thing is if you're a lot bigger than the other person, that's an issue.
Yeah.
But with a snowboard, your edges work differently. So you have 2 edges and you're facing the other way. It's
Yeah.
not-
No, I would not want to do it as a snowboarder for sure.
Yeah.
But yesterday was the first day Saddleback was open.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Looked like they had a good day. A lot of snow up there.
Yeah. It's coming.
Yeah, 5 years. They were interviewing the director, I think, this morning on one of the news, and like he said, he was there every day for the last 5. He was like facilities maintenance, like one of the guys that stayed through, and to see the smile on his face after going through that, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I bet.
They got a new lift.
Yeah. What Jedi said it used to take 14 minutes to get from the lodge to the top, and it's down to 4.
Plus the weight. Remember, the weight was the worst.
Yeah.
Because the lift was so slow, it would back up.
Yeah.
You'd get up there and you'd want to stay up top the whole time because you didn't want to go back down. and deal with that.
Right. So it's exciting. Ski season is upon us.
And technology's hit the mountains of Maine too. So I know that Sugarloaf and Saddleback and probably Sunday River now have the RFID, where you have the chip in your pass. So all you do is you go up to the gate and it swings open. You go through.
Wow.
Yeah. You don't have to talk to anyone. COVID friendly.
COVID friendly.
More jobs going though. Just like that stupid scan at the store. They'll be all computers before you know it.
Never. But yeah, things are going well at Kennebec Cabin Company. We've still got tons of great gifts here for the holidays.
What's the hot sellers been?
We sold out all the pocket knives.
Pocket knives sold out.
Yeah.
Did Fletcher buy them all? Fletcher's probably got them all in his bed.
Fletcher needs no more knives.
No.
No more knives. What did he ask for Christmas? A Toyota Tacoma.
And knives,
Kid.
right?
No, compound bow.
Oh, compound bow and a Toyota Tacoma.
Yeah.
We said neither of those.
He'd fit right in up north.
He would soon enough. But yeah, no, things are going well. We got one camp left in the bag
Yeah.
till the new year.
Knock
and
on
then
wood.
knock on wood. It's been going well.
And we're doing what we said we wouldn't. We're going to do some camps over the winter.
We always do.
Yeah. We were very clear, though. We're going to, no pressure this time. If it's really, really, I told the guys the other day, listen, if it's brutal out, we're not going to work because it's not fair to us, not fair to the homeowners. It's just not worth it. So be prepared to take a day hit, mental health day here and there.
Yep.
Stay warm and be happy.
Yep, absolutely. Cool. Well, we will be right back with our guest, Tim Cotton. All right, and we are back with our guest, Tim Cotton. Our guest segment today is brought to you by Allagash Brewing Company. Welcome, Tim.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it very much.
How you doing, Tim?
Yeah,
I'm doing good, Ryan. Thank you.
and just for everybody, Tim's been a police officer for more than 30 years in the Bangor Police Department, and this year he published a book, The Detective in the Dooryard, and it's all about stories of Maine people, places, and all the goings-on, the day-to-day interactions you have.
Yeah, a lot of it's to do, some of it's police centric, but a lot of it's just Maine centric, because I'm a policeman, but I really just a Mainer, Yeah, I can hold my.
Yeah.
I saved one just in case you guys lost it or something. But yeah, that's the book.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a lot of short stories and some snippets from our Facebook page and some poetry and some funny stories and yeah, it was fun to write and it's done very well. We've been very happy with the response. It's been great. Yeah.
Just for anyone listening, we're a little out of order because we're doing a live Zoom meeting, and we're going to go right to Tim first, and we'll do our talk afterwards. So we start everything off, Tim, would you like a virtual water, coffee, or Allagash beer today?
I'm going to have a virtual coffee because I brought one.
Awesome.
I needed one anyway, so I brought one, and so I appreciate the offer, but I'm going to do a little dark magic here.
Oh, there you go. Well, yeah.
We're going to have a live in-person beer.
Yeah. So, yeah, this segment's
I figured you would be.
Allagash Brewing. We've kind of reached the pinnacle of our life being sponsored by a great beer company like this. So we always take advantage of it.
You had no idea 10 years ago that you guys sitting there drinking beer talking to an idiot in Bangor.
If you would have told me that 25 years ago in college.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting paid to do it to boot. Good for you.
Right. Well, cheers, Tim. We really appreciate your time coming on and talking to us. And
yes.
Cheers to you as well.
Yeah,
I appreciate you having me, thinking about me and letting me on. That's really nice of you.
So, you've been a police officer for over 30 years. Was it mostly all in Bangor?
No, I've been at Bangor for 23, and I was at the Hamden Police Department for 9 years. So about 32 years total. Yeah. So I went to Bangor in the late 90s, and I've been there ever since. So that's where, it's a great department, great place to be, great city to police too.
And not that our viewers don't know who you are, but just to preface this, I mean, your Facebook following is amazing. You have created a Facebook page that is just unbelievable. You have a lot of followers, and it's mostly based. Your writing is just unique, and you've gained a lot of fans. So, what brought up the writing background?
Well, I really don't have one. I worked in radio when I was a kid. When I got out of high school, I worked for Stephen King's radio station. Yeah. I worked for a couple of radio stations up here, so I was a disc jockey, and then I was a newsman and whatever you had to do. Radio in the 80s, But it was a great experience, and I wrote a little bit. I had to write my own news, and then I wrote a little bit for a small paper that was out of Brewer. And I guess I was always crafty with words, but I wouldn't say I was a writer, and I still don't necessarily claim to be one. But when I went through my career as a police officer, and finally in 2014, I was a detective, and I was a polygraph examiner, and I had some pretty good luck with cases and homicides, but it was probably time. I probably missed the high point of trying to become a CO or a sergeant or a lieutenant. And so I decided to take a sergeant's exam, and there was 2 jobs open when I was picked as sergeant. One was midnights as a sergeant, or one was public information officer. And when you're in your 50s, you go, I'll take the day job.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I took the public information job, and the Facebook page came with that. So I wasn't a Facebook guy. I didn't have an account. So they said, hey, what are you going to do? And I thought, I'll just write some stuff and see if it works. So I started writing, and it took off. And, there was a few really big, some bonuses along the way. When you write something funny at that time as a police department, you got some notoriety. So I think NPR picked up one I had written just making fun of people who light off fireworks around Bangor. It was just stupid. Right. It really was dumb. But NPR picked it up, and they ran it on the 4th of July in 2014. And from that, we were featured in a lot of magazines, People and HuffPost. And so we were kind of a pioneer, as it were, right? Because there's I don't do videos. Number one, I don't have the equipment to do videos. So, so I said, look, I'm going to write it. I'm going to write it and see what happens. And it took off. And so I've stuck with that premise that worked. Why would I do something else? And from there, it just kind of snowballed. And I wrote a little bit for Car Talk. They came from Boston when they were running Car Talk, just as the blog site. So I wrote a blog for Car Talk and picked up some work for Blower Uniform and a podcast. And it's just taken me all kinds of places. So over the course of that year, probably 2017, 18, some publishers came forward and said, hey, would you like to write a book? And I said, I guess I could try it and, see what happens. Get me a good editor. And so it ended up, I had some opportunities maybe from outside, some publishers outside of Maine, but when Down East Books came forth and said, hey, do you want to work with us? It was Michael Steer. He's out of the center of the state down, we just hit it off, and he liked the writing, and he said, hey, I won't mess with it. Let's just put a book together and see what you think, and let's work together. And we did, and it took off, and we've done really well. It's been a great experience. I've just signed up to do 3 more.
Oh,
so,
congratulations.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I mean, I didn't know, you don't know what's going to happen if you don't know anything about the sport, right? I just tried it, and, we've done really well. We've had a lot of really good press. Mike Rowe picked it up, and he's been a real help. Craig Johnson from Longmire fame did a promotion for, all these great writers who picked up and said, hey, that's pretty good stuff. We'll help you. You get picked up along the way, as you guys know.
Yeah.
And there's people that help you. You got to say thank you. So, it's not all me, but it's been great.
And what's amazing is you've done this, in the summer of COVID your book came out and you're, able to sell it out that quickly. And I know you've had some challenges with, press and stuff.
Yeah, that was tough. We thought it would be out in May, but everything was shut down, and the presses for Down East Books are out of state, and so everything was shut down, and people were like, hey, I want to buy the book. Our pre-sales were huge. And I have my own writing page, Tim Cotton Writes. I had to kind of move some of my writing there because, I just needed another outlet to write about other things, because a lot of people expect just police stuff, and our Bangor Police Department page wasn't just police stuff. It was a lot of my stories that I used there. But I've kind of moved some of that writing away now and just sort of kind of keep at it on the BPD page. But the book was a nightmare at the beginning because of COVID. And finally in July it came out, and it just took off, and we did really, really well. We're doing well at sales this year at Christmas. And I think I did a couple of great signings. We had several hundred people in Belfast, and I did one down in Wells, but COVID kind of shut that down too. And I really like to meet you, as you folks know. Sure. You want to talk to the people in person, just like this would have been more fun in person.
Absolutely, yeah.
This Zoom stuff is, it is what it is. But I eschew a lot of Zoom stuff because I really don't enjoy it as much as just meeting and greeting. So that said, I've started to sign book plates, and I think we've signed for people that I've signed 4,000 or 5,000 book plates. Wow. They come in, I sign the plates and send them out, and people can put them inside their books for Christmas this year. So we've had a real run of that.
Nice.
And yeah, it was just something different. And actually it was the editor's idea. He said, we can send these out. So I have them send a stamped self-addressed envelope, and we sign them however they want them. We ship them back. So it's kind of a neat thing. I'd much rather talk to someone and hold their book and meet them, because there's some great people that have been supportive along the way. So I appreciate them.
Are you used to signing your name yet, doing autographs?
I really, it's weird because I have
Isn't
a signature.
It's so weird.
Because if I do a sheet of 4 book plates at a time, and I'll go, well, that one doesn't look like that one, and that they never look exactly the same. So every signature is unique, and I don't have one of those auto signers. I do them all myself, as you folks do, I'm sure. And I see you're signing axe handles, and that's even harder. I'm signing flat paper.
This Christmas season, we're signing everything. So one of the things we're offering now is, buy merchandise from us. So I think this past week we signed yardsticks, pint glasses, carved owls.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. But it's to sign that stuff than it is a book. You guys, that's tough. 3D objects are much more difficult to make
fabric's the hardest, I find.
Fabrics, yeah. When you're young, when you're young and you're a rock,
it never looks good.
We sign up a lot of old ladies' backs,
Yeah. As long as you're signing their back.
Yeah,
good.
That's right.
But that phenomenon to sign an autograph will never get. It just puts a smile on my face and smirk. I'll never understand if.
It's an
very
odd
lucky.
feeling when someone asks for that, because you really don't feel worthy to sign anything, but you do it, and they love it. It's fun. It's a great interaction. I love.
It's a good reminder.
I'm hoping next summer.
We feel.
Yeah, I hope next summer I can get out there and do more.
Well, this comes to the rain check to do one in person sometime too. So
I do want to come down.
Yes.
I'd love to. I was actually looking forward to buying an axe. I told I told my chief. I said, hey, because my chief is a huge fan and of you folks, and he said, oh, that's so cool. You're gonna go down. I said, well, just come down. Maybe they'll let you meet him. I mean, I don't think they're too standoffish, and so then this became Zoom. So I said, plus maybe you could go to the store because you really want the T-shirt. And I said, yeah, well. So I said, well, I think I might go back in the spring or summer sometime, and then why don't you go so we can peruse your store and buy a few items, maybe get some signatures.
We've had such a great time when we opened the Woodshed up, a tasting room out back, and we got to really spend time with the fans and their friends, and they bring their dogs. I mean, it was great, and we opened up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Opened up the end of August.
Yeah.
It was short-lived, but we're ready for the spring to come, and hopefully this.
Oh, no kidding.
Behind us.
Yeah, incredible. Well, I appreciate you having me on.
So are you?
I need to bring. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
I just wanted to jump into the Duck of Justice.
Okay, there you go.
I mean, that's kind of how I first got to know you, was the Duck of Justice.
Yeah, I do. We are selling masks.
Oh, nice.
PD. It's a little Duck of Justice. Very cool. They've sold out already.
Awesome.
On our, we have a lady that makes all our product, and so we have Duck of Justice T-shirts and now masks. Who thought that we'd be selling masks at this point in our lives?
Are those available
the
on your?
Duck of Justice. It's an odd thing.
Yeah, start from the beginning, like.
I will. It's so bizarre. Even some days, it's hard. People, I'll tell you in a second something that's crazy that happened. So this duck was stuffed in the office of the district attorney in Penobscot County, Maine. When I became a cop in the late 80s, the duck was on a shelf near a lady named Christine's desk. And Christine was our administrative assistant. We could bring in summonses and tickets, and she did all the paperwork. And this duck was sitting there, it's dusty. And I said, what's up with the duck? And she said, oh, that was a gift from the warden service years ago. It was a hunting case. The duck was a victim of a hunting accident, obviously, meaning they shouldn't have shot it. I don't know if it's out of season or too many, but anyway, some warden had it stuffed for them and gave it to them as a gift. So I said, hey, if you ever, she goes, we hate it. We hate taxidermy in our office. I said, hey, if you ever get rid of it, I'd like to have it. And at that point, the neck was broken, crooked, and it just looked like a disheveled duck. So over the years, I think it was 2000. I always said if the duck ever comes up. So there was a German girl there, and she worked the front office, and she was German, and so everything she said sounded angry. And so she'd always say, I hate that duck, and she'd use expletives there. And so one day when they were moving out of the office, I was in there as a detective dropping off a case, and she goes, I hate this duck. And I said, what are you going to do? She says, I'm throwing it in the trash can. And she drilled it into like a metal can. And I said, okay, I understand how warrants work, but this is discarded property and it's a freebie now. So I took it and I seized the duck. And that was about 2007. I kept it in my cubicle at work. I used to, if I had a suspect or a witness, and the thing looked horrible. Eyes were askew. It was really a mess. And I would say, hey, if you're going to talk to me, you can't lie in front of the duck. That's the deal. And it would break the ice with a lot of people. And either whether they be a suspect or a witness, they talk more, if they feel comfortable. And we talk about where I got the duck, same as we are now. And I said, but the duck, it's the duck of truth. It's, it will know if you lie. And it was a joke. And as time went on, we called it the duck of truth at the police department. So finally, when I took over as PIO, I went into the new office and I set it in the corner and we started introducing officers with pictures. So I said, let's slide the duck into the pictures, but we don't say anything about it. And so we'd have it, the beak would be like, peeking out of here, or it'd be, like this. And people started saying, why is there a duck in your pictures? And I didn't answer them. For about a month and a half, we just kept sticking it in pictures. And then we took it up to Stephen King's house, placed it in front of his house, took it to the racetrack, the water tower in Bangor. That's kind of a beautiful old ornate building. And finally I said, oh, it's the Duck of Justice. It was a joke. I mean, it was truly a joke. I said, we changed the name to Justice. And people started going crazy and asking for like shirts and plushies, how it is, just weird things. And I said, let's run with it. So I started telling stories. I put it in the cruiser with the guys, and Down East Magazine did a great video of the duck, and it was like a kind of a spoof on The Office. And the duck just became more and more famous, and there it is. And it's to this day, I don't even write about it every day, but people are, hey, how's the duck? And I'm like, well, now it's encased. We had it redone by a taxidermist.
Nice.
It's encased in a glass case, and we have a museum, and the duck is there. And people come, thousands of people make the pilgrimage to see the duck. And they have their picture, and if they send me the picture, I put it on the page. And, 300,000 people follow the page, so they become duck famous. And so we started selling T-shirts, and we've sold to date, I'm going to say we've sold 50,000, 60,000 T-shirts.
Smokes.
No, it's an incredible amount. What happens is the lady who makes the shirts makes a donation to us because we can't raise money that way. We can't just sell things. So she sells the shirts and makes a donation per shirt. And we used all that money. I don't know. We've probably taken in $70,000, $80,000 on the percentages. And we buy bicycle helmets for kids, or
awesome.
We had an Explorer post, so we used it to buy their uniforms. If we have an outreach candy for Halloween, we use that community outreach fund for anything we do. Buy kids at Christmas for less fortunate kids. We buy Christmas presents with it. So that duck in turn has created this. It's a phenomenon unto itself. And this summer we had to kind of shut our lobby down. We have people that literally. I had a lady that drove from Indiana when she was declared free of cancer, and she told her husband that the writing and the page got her through some of those tough times.
Yeah.
And he goes, "What do you want to do?" She goes, "I want to go see the duck." They drove from Indiana.
That's awesome.
And they show up in the lobby. And, you go down and meet those people, right? This is ladies been through a living hell.
Yes.
And they got their picture with the duck. They buy a shirt. They want to meet and talk about the writing. So it's just been this little community thing, and it just took off. We're probably the only police department in America that has a stuffed duck in the lobby that people come to see from miles around. And we've had people as far as China, Australia. In a way, it's sort of like what you guys have experienced. It's people love Maine, and they like the campiness, and when I say that the rural flavor, and it's crazy, it's stupid, but yet it brought people together. And I always say it's like a story of redemption, that anybody can be saved. A duck from a trash can has created this huge community, and it's crazy, but it's true.
Yeah.
I think a common theme in Maine is we all work hard. Our jobs aren't always fun, but you make the best of it.
That's right.
And
I
you guys
agree.
just had
100%.
fun with your duck, and and it's taken a life of its own.
It really has. When there was a Queens of the Stone Age were in Bangor, and a bunch of ladies came from the concert, slightly inebriated and dressed not as appropriately as you'd expect them to be. And one of our nighttime sergeants, they show up at midnight and they want to see the duck. And at that time, we were letting people hold the duck before, and then he got just wrecked. But then the ladies were putting him places where he shouldn't be, and they were out and doing poses, and that stuff got on the internet.
Yeah.
So for a while there, the chief was a little tense about the duck because he's afraid what's next, or someone's going to try to kidnap it, or And then Van Halen, I met Van Halen's roadies, followed the page, and they loved the duck. So when they showed up, they called and said, "Could we take it on tour for the rest of the New England tour?" This is the roadies. And I said, "I'm in for it." Yeah, absolutely. Because the duck was really destroyed. Well, I went in the chief's office on that one, and he's like, "Absolutely not. You saw what happened with the Queens of the Stone Age. You know what's going to happen if it's on a Van Halen tour." I said, "Yeah." So we didn't, but they came up and had their picture with the duck. So we had a lot of people just show up, and it really, it builds rapport between police and community, and it's not related to, if I told people, we have people come visit us for no other reason than to see a stuffed duck. There is no police department in America that can make that claim except us. So it's been neat. It's been neat. It really is. Yeah.
It shows the human side of your job. Sometimes police officers don't get that recognition, and it just shows you guys are just like the rest of us.
Just want to have a good time. The uncomfortable thing is people do send me. I was going to say they send me crumbs and food, and I'm on bags of crumbs for a duck. It's uncomfortable because I'm like, well, the duck is dead. But people really, they have that much connection that they want to send it something to eat. Sure. They want to send it snacks, And so I've had a lot of breadcrumbs come across my desk, and I don't want to just throw them out. You feel uncomfortable. You're like, that's a gift from someone. So I have bags of breadcrumbs on my desk from time to time. And I'm like, people ask, "What's that?" "That's for the duck. Don't ask."
Take them down to the Penobscot.
yeah, feed the ducks down there. Yeah, so it's crazy. It's done. We've really done well with it. It's been great.
Nice. And do the duck stories make it into your book?
There is the story behind the duck and basically how it came to be. But mostly the stories are really not police-centric. They're people-centric, meeting the police or people I've run into in my Down East travels to camp on the trails for the ATV, or just people I've run into, or people that want to tell you their story. And there's some fiction story, basically fact-based fiction from things that have happened to me through my career that I've written. But kind of taken people out of it to make it more anonymous so no one gets hurt. But there's stories of suicide, widows. The one called The Widow in the book is a pretty touching story, and I wrote it to separate the widow, but it was a case that I had worked where the husband had done a horrible thing and killed himself in the day, one of their best days ever, and how police officers sit with those people, and you really have to make conversation, and it's just not a day where someone wants, it's just an uncomfortable day. So you do the best you can, but no one trains you for this. That's not an academy class. You just have to, so you might make them tea. Or we've had an officer or an older lady, he shoveled her driveway, and he said, "Is there anything else I can do for you?" And she said, "Could you make me an over easy egg?" Well, he said, "Yeah." So he goes in. He worked for me. He still works today. Dustin Dow. He went in and cooked an egg, and one of the other guys just took a picture. And it wasn't meant to be like, "Hey, we do all this,"
Right.
But it was a touching moment. And then the lady says, "Well, you broke the yolk." She was. I mean, she's just a Maine lady, and she's like, "Hey, can you make me an egg?" Because she just hasn't had an egg in a while. And so, I said, so we do those things, and I think people miss that a lot because what they see on television, there's not a lot of people portraying police officers. And granted, police have screwed up a lot of stuff. Don't get me wrong, but the point is, there's a lot of great things. Cops all over America, not just here, all over Maine, all over America, are doing those little things. Those aren't in reports, and those aren't something we're going to see on a video. And you know what? We shouldn't, but you should know it's happening. And so I've tried to memorialize some of that. And so some of the stories are like that. So it's been, it's really an eclectic blend of Maine guy stuff, camp stuff, cop stuff, just stuff. And the gut warrants part, and the humorous stories of arrests and non-arrests. Those are really big. So the next book will probably be mostly gut warrants. That's what people are raving for.
Have you started on the next book?
Yeah, I should be. Actually, should be writing tonight. But
so is it deadlines now for you?
Yeah, it is. But I don't worry about. I'm having fun with it. And,
Good.
And my editor and the book company they're great, and they understand I've got a job, and but I write when I can, and I pretty much write all the time. So. It's coming together. I think by the end of February we'll have it ready to put to bed and hopefully come out in July. So.
And do you write with pen and paper or on a computer?
Well, I have a lot of paper around my mess over in the corner where I keep my computer. I take a lot of notes. I write stuff all the time. When I think of a good analogy or a story, I write on a piece of paper and I keep them in a stack, and it's big.
Gotcha.
I do like paper. I'm a simple guy. I'm 57 years old. So I grew up writing on paper. Even the computers are still pretty foreign to me even now. But I do enjoy, just typing out a story, and I enjoy the urgency when a story comes to me to be able to put it on Facebook and then have 15,000 people like it within an hour of the thought of the story. It's online. And so I think people have appreciated having something other than silly videos and chase scenes. And I think people like to see maybe the heart of a police officer or the heart of a person from Maine. People love Maine. I mean, they love you. You guys are like the epitome right now of what Maine is to people. And they love that about us. They do. And they want this life that we have. I mean, They want that life. They're watching Cabin Masters because their dream is to be there with you or at the lake,
Yes, exactly.
Now more than ever with everything that's going on, too, I think.
Yeah, and this year, exactly. I had nephews and nieces come up from Texas a couple of years ago, and they were taking them to camp, first time, growing up in Texas. And on the way down east, in the truck, we're listening to music and having a great time, and they're happy that I like music that they like, which they couldn't believe, And so we're cranking music, and we're going by the lakes. You're going down Route 1A, then you run, down 1A by the ocean, and then they're seeing all these ponds, and they say, how come there's so much water here? I'm like, well, this is, you're just looking at you're on one ribbon of highway. There's so many lakes and ponds. They're not used to that. And so when they got to the lake, I swear they were in the water for a week. They were in the lake.
Coming out like prunes.
And I was like, watch. It's incredible. The people, when they see your show, and they're like, that can't be real. It's everywhere. It surrounds us, Yeah. And as you've proven. So I like that. I like to bring people here, and they see what we have, and then they realize why we put up with the winter,
Right. So where is your slice of heaven?
Washington County.
Washington County.
Far eastern Washington County.
Down east.
way down east. Yeah, about 6-7 miles from the ocean. So I can be on the lake, and I can be at the ocean within 20 minutes. And I can be in Lubeck for clam dinner at Frank's, and we ride our motorcycles, and we just hang around. I mean, it's the best part of life in Maine, and that's the reason I can't move away. I always told my significant other, "You're not getting me out of here because I'm not going to miss it." People come here for what I have 24 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Why would I want to just come up for? I can't imagine 2 weeks in Maine because I'd want to come back. I can't imagine it. When I see people with nice camps, they're like, "Well, we come up about a week a year," and I'm just. I'm awestruck that you can handle that you can be that far away from your place.
It's true.
And so I could live there full time if I could do it. I would. You know,
people ask us all the time, "Are we ever going to leave the state and do cabins anywhere else?" We're like, "Why would we?" There's no shortage of them, and this is where we want to be.
No, and look at the jobs you guys do on those cabins. It's tremendous, and people, you saw. I think I put this that we were going to be on your show. I think we had 2,000 or 3,000 likes and tons of comments.
Nice.
We watch your show. We love those guys. We love her. We love them. We love everything about that. They sit down at night and they've got popcorn and they're watching you. And it's huge. It's huge. It's amazing. This is the best thing that's come out of Maine since Bean Boots.
That is quite the compliment.
Yeah,
And,
it is. You guys have torn it up.
And Ellie's she made an appearance earlier. Your sidekick,
Yeah, I can
Ellie.
get her over. If somebody wanted to see her, they keep writing me notes. Ellie, come here. Come over here. I don't know which way. She's got to come one way or the other.
Yeah.
Ellie, come over here. Get up here.
One thing we've noticed with our fans is they love the dogs. People just love dogs.
Yeah, dogs are life for these. And I got a biscuit on the table.
Oh, there she
This
is.
is Ellie, and this is Ellie, and she's laid back until the UPS man comes. This dog is docile, but she's pretty soft mouth, but she's gone
so
now.
Gentle.
But that's Ellie. She's a half boxer, half lab, and she's much more. A lot of people want me to bring her to book signings, and I said she likes people, but you don't know what's going to happen with a dog. She's got a little defense in her, so you got to be careful. But
Yep.
and I'd love to take her places, but you know how dogs act when you have people around. They say, "Don't you train that dog?" And I'd be like, "Not really. I let her do what she wants
Dog
to do."
trains me.
Yeah. Well, great. Do we have a few questions?
Yep.
We have a few fan questions that Maggie has.
Oh, good. And she's my favorite part of the show.
Ours
She is
too.
so-
Ours too.
Her dry humor. I watch just to see this.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming, Maggie.
She keeps us in line, doesn't she?
She keeps it real.
She's hilarious.
Thank you. All right.
I'm ready. You got a question?
I do. Have you ever had writer's block, and what helped it disappear?
Oh, I have writer's block all the time. I'm one of those people that I see a word or hear a story or talk to someone in a store, and I sort of see a story. And that happens to be enough that I just kind of slug around a lot because when I'm not at work, I drive, 100 miles to my place every weekend. So on the way, there's places to stop and people to see, and it's a never ending story in Maine. And so when I have block, I think probably within a couple of days, I'll be like, that was a really interesting conversation I had with that individual or that lady, or given directions. And I like to write stories based on my interactions with people. So I have the block, but usually it goes away pretty quickly. I've been really lucky. And sometimes you just need to sit down and type and see what comes out, and sometimes it's really bad. So,
and there's a long history of, storytellers in Maine. Who are some of your inspirations?
I'm going to tell you that I found him late in life, but John Gould. And if you find some John Gould, he was a writer for the Christian Science Monitor, did a radio show for years. His stuff is still in print. You got to look for it. He spanned the time between the 20s and the 80s. And he talks about, building an old house after a house fire. And a great Maine humorist that's far overlooked is John Gould. E.B. White, obviously people know him from Charlotte's Web and everything else, but there's a writer. One Man's Meat is my favorite book of all time. It's a series of essays from E.B. White. And Evie, oddly, spent time near the lake where I have my place. He used to come down to a Methodist camp down there, and during the 30s, and he'd take the ride from Brooklyn. And so E.B. White, John Gould, I really like history books, and Undaunted Courage was one of my favorite books about the westward expansion. So I like Maine humor, but I like history, and I read a lot of it. Right now I'm reading a book called Spearhead about tanks, the men in the tanks during the Battle of the Bulge. I've seen the movies, Band of Brothers, and read the books about that horrible time in our history. But the tankers was something I'd never read about, and the severity of the conditions that they had to deal with. So Adam Makos, I think, is the author of that. So I'm reading that right now. I try to read everything. I pick up anything and read it. So I think John Gould would be the person I would say, man, if I could meet a person. And a lady sent me a signed John Gould book. He's passed away, but she had given it to her dad. And she followed the page, and she said, you remind me of John Gould. Would you like this book? I gave it to my father, signed by John Gould. So I just got that in the mail about a month ago.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Really touching.
Yeah.
It's real. People, they send you things.
Oh,
they
yeah.
feel like they know you, and the things like that are pretty touching. So that was kind of exciting, because I don't talk about that I love John Gould, but it shows up and someone says, you remind me of him. It's like, wow.
That's quite a compliment.
There's no comparison, right? But it feels good to be compared.
For sure.
Yeah.
Great. All right, next question. Favorite season, Maine summer or Maine winter?
Whew. I can write more about winter because there's so many things happening, but I think my favorite season is Maine summer. Obviously, not June for reasons that you folks know. Yeah, I think my favorite time of vacation, the first 2 weeks of August and the last 2 weeks of September. Those are my vacation weeks always. And the bugs are gone where I have a place about mid-July, and by August, people are talking about the horrible bugs, and I'm not seeing any. So I like that. Those 2 weeks of a year are they're my go-to respite. So I got Maine summer. In the winter and November. I love November because we're getting so close to what we're going to be torn up with in the next couple days. I like the juxtaposition between the seasons, and I like the cold. I love cold weather. I don't love snow, but I love zero temperatures. I love it, but I don't like snow. It's just
interesting.
Yeah, I thought today was beautiful. Yeah. Keep the wind away, but keep cold temperature fine. But keep
That's
the
right.
wind away.
Oh, I love a cold day.
No. All right. One last question. What can you learn as a police officer that no other job can teach you?
Oh,
good question.
Patience and learning to build rapport with people that hate you. And when I say they hate you, they hate what you're,
right.
When the cops come, no one's really happy. I mean, it's not like a fireman showing up, right? They're happy. But when the cops show up, it's gone downhill to the point that someone else can't handle the situation. And so you already start off on a bad note. But the ability to build a friendship quickly or build rapport with someone to get a conversation going so you can find out what the real problem is, and maybe, they may direct their anger and angst and sometimes hatred towards you. But if you can get through that, that's a skill that takes I think 10 years as a police officer to start being able to go, hey, I can see around the issue, and I'm going to try to say, hey, I love your dog, right? Or if you can say, hey, what's your dog's name? Or, hey, what's your favorite song? I used to do that to people all the time in the car. I was telling, my son is a trooper up north, and I said, one thing you can do, you get somebody in your backseat of your car, and you might have had a physical struggle to get them there, and they're handcuffed. Ask them what their favorite song is, what they like for music, and put it on, because it's a long ride to jail. And if you give them their music, sometimes there's this bond there. And if you know something about the music and you can talk to them about the band, all of a sudden, all the other stuff kind of goes out the window, and you just have this commonality for a minute. And he said to me recently, hey, I did that. I had a guy and he wasn't happy, and it was kind of a struggle. And we started listening to music, cranking it up. And when you're, a trooper, you get a long way to go to the jail from wherever. He's far northern Maine.
Yeah.
So it's a long ride, and there's not a lot of great stations, but he pays for his Pandora or his XM.
Cost of doing business.
He said, by the time they're done, the guy's saying, hey, you got a really clean car. Your car's really neat. And he said, I try to keep it clean. I like to have a clean office, and this is my office. And they shot the bull on the way, and everything's fine. So I think there's a lot of challenges with that, and I think we can use these little tools. There's a commonality with all of us. You just got to find it. And sometimes I think that's what I like best about the job is trying to find that, and you don't find it on Google. You find it by having conversations.
That's right. The personal interactions.
People don't do that. It's kind of younger generation. They're kind of in their phones or I always tell young guys, if I had them with me, read everything you find. Read Glamour magazine at the doctor's office, because you don't know who you're going to have in the back seat. That little bit of tidbit of information about your mascara, even though you don't wear it, might take that woman to a different place that's had a bad time.
Interesting.
So, I always have said, just read everything you can, because you never know. Toothpaste tubes, as we all do, back of the deodorant bottles. Old Spice has the best writing in any deodorant, by the way. And I know you don't have them as a sponsor. So if you get them as a sponsor, you could do that before you drink your beer.
Deodorant would make sense next.
We might be bottom of the list for their sponsorship.
Maybe not. You guys don't look like you're so bad.
Hair products.
So
we're like cabins.
Yeah. So those are the things, I guess. Just build. There's a commonality. You just got to find it. And sometimes it's hard to find, and you're having a bad time. Try to find it. So I like that part of the job.
Good words of
wisdom.
wisdom.
Absolutely. Excellent advice.
I don't know.
Yeah. And so are you still writing for the Facebook page?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I shared a post from 2016 today and wrote a new piece with it about one of the biggest posts I ever had happened to be in January 21st remember the mid-Atlantic storm that came up the coast? I think it was 17 or 16, and it just decimated Virginia, and people weren't ready for it. They had a foot and a half of snow, and it didn't hit us. So I wrote a thing about, hey, fill your tub so you can flush your toilet. Don't fill your tub because you need a bath. And how many people wrote me after that and said, I had no idea that the toilet ran on water power, not. I mean, they think. I'm not joking. Here in Maine, what do you do when the power goes out? Fill the tub. Hurry up. Get some pots so we can flush the toilet for the next 2 days because we're out of power. And I talked about it's not milk and bread. You need some Captain Crunch, and it stays forever, and you can eat that for days. And I just talked about shovel slow. Don't get carried away with it. You're not used to what we are. Take your time. And it was just a humorous twist on basically if you think Mainers walk funny because it's not the clam chowder that did it to us. It's that we're angry and we've been shoveling all winter, so we're used to it. So I wrote a thing about that and then did a new post with it. That did well. So I like to share some old posts. But I like to write about the weather, and I look for something in the country that we can all experience together. I try to write about that, or at least from a Maine guy's perspective. And people like that. I think they believe that we're pretty self-sufficient, and I know that we are because I don't. The story is we go to the store for milk and bread. I don't go to the store ever when a storm comes because we've been here so long. You've got to have some stuff in the cupboard. If you're that hard up, you're in deep trouble, right?
Absolutely.
So I just wrote about how we try to be self-sufficient, and it was a huge post. I think it had 96,000 comments.
Wow.
And and I think it was seen by 1.2 or 1.3 million people. And that one kind of took me to different places. I got written up in the Cleveland Plain Dealer, and they said, "This great advice from Maine." It wasn't great advice. It was the advice. It was absolute truth. I mean. And people are like, wow, those Maine guys, they really know. Well, we only know because we have to deal with it so much, and people aren't used to this, 14 inches of snow, we go to work. Right. And the rest of the world shuts down. You say, well, get up an hour earlier, get the driveway cleared. So I think people outside of Maine, I think they like to see that, and I think that's what the draw is. And part of the mystique of the Cabin Masters is to know that there's that many lakes with that many camps that aren't in good condition. Yeah, most camps aren't in good condition, right?
Absolutely.
And, there's a lot of lake houses, but you turn them into masterpieces. But you start with a pretty rough slate sometimes.
Yeah,
and I think they like to see that. They love it.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, Tim. Thank you. We really appreciate.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate.
Yeah.
I appreciate.
So
having me
people
on.
can find more. Where can they find your book?
They can find my book anywhere where fine books are sold, because sometimes they still have mine anyway. And Amazon obviously is a great, no matter what, a local bookstore first. Obviously, go to your local bookstores and buy it. You can find it downtown Bangor. I sign a lot of books around town. When I get a chance, I'll go in and sign them. And any bookstore, order it online. Look for the next one this spring. Find me at timcottonwright. You can write me at Gmail, timcottonwrights at Gmail, but you can find me at timcottonwrights at Facebook as well as the Bangor, Maine Police. So you can find my writing in all those spots and a few other places where someone might let me write now and then. And look for the book. Look for the book this spring. And thanks for having me on. And you guys have done wonderful things. Your group has just made Maine, you put us on a different section of the map. It's been appreciated by all of us, and we're big fans here, and we appreciate you guys.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Tim, for the kind words.
Yeah, and thanks for being on, and we will talk to you soon. Yeah, hopefully get you down here in the spring.
I look forward to it.
Bring
Thank
the
you.
chief.
Yeah, bring the chief.
I will. I'll bring him.
And the dog.
He needs a T-shirt. Yeah,
Perfect,
the dog.
perfect.
We'll bring the dog.
Awesome.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, that was great. Like Tim's book, he talks about people with a common story. And this next Hero Media video is the same idea. It's Tandem Glass, people that we have their artwork in the studio, and Ashley actually spent some time with them. So check out this video coming up.
It's extremely exciting, nerve-wracking, crushing. It's production. It is hard, grueling, nitty-gritty production, but it's with a material that is gooey and interesting and supple and shiny and magnificent, and always keeping you guessing. It's really like sculpting light.
Sometimes it feels a little bit like we have 4 arms when we're in there. We're both so intent on the design that we both just get right in there, like right up next to each other. That's kind of the most fun, when we're kind of extensions of one another.
It is like a tandem bicycle. Sometimes one of us is steering and the other one's powering. While the other one, we switch that role, and it's quite immediate. We're driven towards the same mission.
Having this tandem thing that we do together really motivates me to push it in a way that if it was just my own work, I probably would not. Glass can be really precious, and we want it to be more durable and more fun and more accessible.
Less consistent, less predictable, and letting the bits of color stay proud on the surface. The texture becomes a real interaction between the person holding it and the cup. They have a visceral response to it. It's not just beautiful and colorful and tough and holds my whiskey, but it's gripping my hand back, and people really love that.
I totally love what I do. I've been doing this for 30 years now, and I feel like it just got good. Like, my familiarity with the material and the equipment and the same assistant for such a long period of time, it's like it just has facilitated doing something that I love.
Yeah, what those guys do are amazing at Tandem Glass.
It is.
They kind of have, I don't know if it's a perfect job or not, they take the whole summer off. Remember him telling us that?
That's right. Yeah, and thanks again to Tim. That was super interesting. Crazy about that duck.
Yeah, 1.2 million people seen one of his posts.
And I had a chance to go on tour with Van Halen.
So awesome. The things you learn, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Mag, hit us with some questions.
Okay. First question is, Ryan, how many fish shows have you been to, and do you have a favorite?
Oh, jeez. I'm not one of those people that keep track. There's all these people that keep track of how many shows they've been to. Like, this is my 100th, this is that. I think somewhere between 200 and 300, probably.
How many states have you seen fish in?
Oh, God, I've seen a lot.
Countries?
2 countries.
Yeah.
I bet I've seen them all over the country, really. You know, there was a point time there, like right before, you know, Ash and I were good friends, but we weren't dating, and I would fly to concerts with my buddy Tag all the time. Like, all right, let's go here. So we'd fly to like Ohio and do all these random places, just check them out.
Oh,
Fly in
nice.
for the weekend.
Yeah.
I flew to San Francisco, Colorado a bunch. One time I was gonna hitchhike to Utah from Colorado in the 95. We I don't remember what happened. We were walking out to the road to do it. Like we had 3 free days, and I wussed out or something. Now, and like, what is this epic show? I wish I didn't wuss out, but I did. But I mean, the favorites, it's hard. Like, you know, the Sirius channel is pretty cool because it brings up a lot of old concerts and memories. Like, they were playing like 94 Sugar Bush back. Like, I was 20 years old, had a fake ID. Sorry, Tim. You know, and it feels like so long ago, you know? And it's just all so different, but, you know, I don't really know how. I should have tried to add it up someday. Maybe I don't want to know.
Right.
You know?
Right.
It's a lot.
Is it enough?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. You always have that. The thing about concerts is, like, you book the trip and you get excited to it, and you go and it's fun.
Yeah.
And, like, with fish shows, you go to, they're all different. So you might go to 10, and, you know, there's all different qualities of them. They're all fun, but some you might have to go to 10 shows to get that one that is just like top notch. What you're looking, but what I like and what other people like is two different things. So
Sure.
You really should go to them all, I guess.
Hopefully you'll get a chance coming up very soon.
Hopefully next summer.
That's right.
All right.
Bring my niece and nephews on. I can't wait.
They've already got concerts booked for Harry Styles and Alicia Keys.
Damn, you guys are ahead of me.
Yeah. Hopefully by October.
Nice.
All right. Last question. What is your plan for celebrating Christmas this year?
That's a hot topic in my house.
Yeah, is this going to start an argument? Should I?
No, it's not going to start an argument.
No. We don't. It's tough because you want to see family, but then you want to do the right thing, and
Yeah.
so we've been wondering like what to do. Like we did decide if we see our families, we're wearing a mask the whole time. Even inside, I was told.
What families?
Like if we spend a day with my family, or if we see you guys
Gotcha.
for a little bit, it's tough. It's like
Well, start with us so you don't have to wear a mask with us.
Well, I respect what everyone wants.
Of course.
It's just weird.
Yeah, so almost like Thanksgiving, typically we do large gatherings at the Wayne Rec Center. This year it won't be happening, so it'll just, in our own individual groups. I'm hoping the lakes are going to be frozen over. There's going to be nice ice skating. We can have an outside ice skating party with
That'd be
plenty
awesome.
of room for everybody just to spread out and enjoy skating around.
Hey, it's also your dad's birthday, so he gets to do what he wants.
Yeah.
No.
And then day after Christmas, we are loading up the van and driving to Florida.
There you go.
Wally World, here we come.
No.
It's not necessarily a fun trip. You're going down.
No, yeah, I mean,
It's a work trip.
yes, we're going down to,
You have to go, so you're gonna be safe,
I
and
don't want to.
yeah,
you don't want to, but you kind of have to.
you have to.
I don't.
Yeah,
You
we have to go down and
Clean up Mimi.
clean
Eva's.
out Mimi Eva's apartment or condo, and then I'm gonna buy a trailer and load it up and drive back.
Get something without rust, huh? That'd be awesome. What are you gonna get?
I don't know. I was wondering about that, if I should get a flatbed or
Oh
an
my
enclosed
God.
double axle work trailer. But then I saw a concession stand trailer online. I'm like, oh,
Concession stand would be nice.
I
to
know.
Put that right out back.
I know.
Oh, tough call.
It is. So I'm going to shop around once I get down there.
We need a new equipment trailer someday. Maybe next year. I'm thinking. Both our double axle trailers are getting used and abused.
Yeah. But
Next year.
well, no. I mean, if I find a good deal on one, I'll
Perfect.
load it up and head on home.
Cover it in tops, and you'll be fine.
So yeah, we were trying to figure out. So we're going to take 3 days to get down there. We're going to first day drive just as far as we can, find a place to stay, and then we're trying to think of a good in between stop. Kind of get off the highway, check it out. Take our time. We're thinking down maybe the Charleston or who knows, and then down to Fort Pierce. We'll spend a little time there. Fletch and I are going to go deep sea fishing, and Sarah. Girls don't want to come. They can sit on the beach.
No thanks.
If it's open. I think it must be open. But
I don't know.
yeah,
There'll be sun where you can sit in the sun no matter what.
but those are our Christmas plans.
We don't really have anything yet, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
Weird year. We'll get through it. We're almost there.
absolutely.
We're all gonna look back at this and wonder how we made it through.
Yeah. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Is that Kelly Clarkson?
I have no idea.
I think it is.
Good times.
Yeah. So, we've got a few days left for holiday shopping. Kennebec Cabin Company still has some great stuff. We've got a few new items in. We have sweater mittens, which are great for this season. They are repurposed wool sweaters with fleece linings made by 3 Kittens Mittens.
3 Kittens Mittens.
They are super warm.
That's a cool idea, though. It kind of goes with our brand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Reuse, recycle.
Yeah.
Do they smell like the previous owner? Nope, they smell clean.
Yeah, they're nice. They're, again, just throw them on. Keep those hands warm. And then, speaking of tandem glass, we also have these beautiful glass lampshades.
I'll let you pick one of those up.
Right.
We actually have those in our showroom, too, and people love them.
Yes. They're hand-blown. They've got, the textures. It's really hard to describe over a podcast, but, if you get a chance, check out the website to take a look at them because they really are works of art. They come pre-wired and everything ready to install. And like I said, they're gorgeous.
Yeah, check out the video, too, because the work that goes in is pretty amazing. And those guys, tandem glass, they work in tandem together. It's pretty neat to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ashley and I could never blow glass together, I can tell you that. We'll stick with what we know.
Yeah. So, Maggie, we need the answer to last week's trivia question. Or what was the question again? Jen has it right behind you.
Thank you.
Good job, Jen. She left that day.
Yeah. What Maine town was briefly captured by the Dutch?
I said it was Wilton because of the dairy treat up there with the windmill.
I'm going to say it was Lubeck, just because Tim mentioned it today on our interview.
The answer is Castine.
Castine.
That's central, kind of.
Yeah.
Coastline.
But that's really tucked in there.
And where was it that the German spies, I was just reading about the German spies came up outside of...
That was Frenchman's Bay.
Yeah.
Hancock.
Yeah, I was just reading an article about that. They had like $80,000 in cash and a bunch of diamonds. And this high school kid and this 35-year-old single lady who was working at the waitress got an award because they were the two that noticed them and got the FBI on them and then tracked them down to New York City.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating stuff.
That is. And who won the trivia question?
Their YouTube handle is Deer Farm. So if you're watching,
congratulations, Deer Farm.
Send us a message.
Yeah, or we'll reach out to you and get you your size and get you a nice Kennebec Cabin from the Woodshed T-shirt.
Cool. That was a good one.
Yeah. Do you have a new one?
I do. It is. The question is, when are black bears born?
In the morning. All right. What type of year? I imagine, right? What season?
Are you looking for a month?
I don't know. I'm not. Yes. A specific time, not like a.
Okay.
Yeah.
When are black bears cubs born?
Can we go through? I want to hear some of these answers. So let's write down. There are gonna be some funny ones.
Yeah. We should have a smart-ass winner.
Most unique winner.
Cool. Well, thank you again to Tim Cotton. That was a very interesting interview.
Yeah, I think our whole technology thing's going smoother. We're getting there.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And thank you to our sponsors, Nelma, Hero Media Arts, and Hammond Lumber Company. And yeah, happy holidays.
Yeah, have a great holiday, everybody.
Keep the comments and questions coming. We love them. Thank you. Everybody stay safe out there. And from the Woodshed, we'll be talking to you.